Hey everyone, this is Dave Schurter. I am with Felicity Lee. We are doing a webinar today on just one troll attack. We're going to talk about the discussion of attack on an Amazon book review. The book that we are going to be talking about is Judy Byington's 22 Faces. We will get into that soon enough. But just to let you know a little bit about myself, I am the author of Rabbit Hole, a satanic ritual abuse survivor story. It details my father's activity as a child abductor and a child trafficker. I am an artist and I live a really quiet life in the Midwest. I have another half and I have dogs and I lead a really normal, usual life. A year and a half ago, Felicity and I have known each other or known about each other for several years now. We are both survivors, and we've both been in the community trying to help the community. About a year and a half ago, I would say, she contacted me on Facebook and told me that there was a lot of dissension going on with 22 Faces and that there were a lot of people being attacked on 22 Faces. And she knew that I was familiar with the SRA, satanic ritual abuse issues. And so she asked me if I would come in and I would actually talk about the SRA issues. And so I got involved in 22 Faces on Amazon about a year and a half ago from Felicity asking me to come in and offer my help. At that point in time, why don't I give the floor over to Felicity and let her introduce herself. So Felicity?
Hi, I'm Felicity Lee. I'm the owner of a group called Ivory Gardens Dissociative Identity Disorder Support Group. It's an online community for child abuse survivors. I hold degrees in psychology, English with an emphasis in writing, and a master's of arts degree. I'm a certified teacher. I taught special education for a long time, and now I'm retired. I love English. I love science. I enjoy writing poetry, fiction, doing crafts, and I have 2 grown boys. 2 dogs and a cat. I got involved with 22 Faces after I just uploaded the book to my iPad and decided to read it. It's by Judy Byington, and I read it and I thought, well, I'll go over and I'll write a review. So I went over to where you write a review, and my son had been using my Amazon account to for some kind of health thing he was writing about. So when I logged in, it came up my son's name instead of my name. So I switched it over back to my name, Felicity Lee. And as soon as I posted, I was attacked by, I don't know, 4 or 5 people I'd never really heard of before for being a sock puppet. And, well, now a year and a half later, they're still attacking me about using another name. I didn't know that it was okay to use another name, so I felt really bad. And then I put up my review, and it was taken down like 3 days later because supposedly I was selling this book on my website. Anyhow, I'll stop there, but that gives you an idea of, and I hung in there for quite a while, unlike many other people that have tried to post there. And when it got so bad that I was in tears, didn't know what to do, I multitask a lot because I'm on my board, and I'll go over to Facebook and I'll play games. And I went over to Facebook and I recognized David's name. And so I clicked on it so I could talk to him. And I said, could you come over and help me because they're beating me up. So that's not when I came to know David like as personal as I do now, but it's when I came to be associated with him.
We'd been associated with each other's work for a while.
Yeah.
In the survivor community, you know, we're pretty strong in the survivor. Both of us are pretty strong in the survivor community. Both of us are pretty well known. We just hadn't worked together.
That's true.
And so, in the 22 Faces, if anything, it brought us close together, and now we're really good friends, which, you know, is great. So, let's go to the next slide. This is a discussion of political trolling, which we have seen happen on one book, 22 Faces by Judy Byington. The political trolling that has happened on this book will not only shock anyone familiar with trolling, but also bring attention to an ever-increasing problem happening on the internet with products and books on Amazon, for instance. We have a book, 22 Faces by Judy Byington. I think that's on the next. Nope. Sorry about that. I'm going to switch it over and speed forward. I do have a copy of it right here. See if it can show up. 22 Faces by Judy Byington. The woman is an incredible, this is a story about Jenny Hill. And I think the hardest thing that Judy Byington had going for her is that she was a survivor advocate and not a survivor herself. And so they are trying to attack Judy Byington and her book on Jenny Hill, saying that she took advantage of Jenny Hill. And so all of these trolls are, taking over and really trying to create dissension and create problems for not only the writer, but anybody who will stand up for the writer. Felicity, do you want to talk a little bit about it, or?
We can move on, and I think I'll catch up.
Okay. Go ahead, and if you want to do this one, if you want to read this, because you're really good on trolls.
A lot of people, I don't think that the average person knows exactly what a troll is. So,
and we're not talking about the creatures that live under the bridge.
No, we're not talking about that. It is an actual term and with a definition. It's not actually a really bad term. It's just a really irritating thing that certain people on the internet do. So what they do, they like promoting fighting. They frequent blogs and sites, news sites, discussion forums, and game chats. Trolls thrive in any environment where they are allowed to make public comments. Political trolling is a certain type of trolling. What they do is they try to sway public opinion. The act of using emotions, lies, false accusations, broken logic to undermine opinion and win an argument in a political arena. This book isn't really political, but for them it is. They have what we call the false memory syndrome thing going on, where they believe that therapists implant false memories and stuff like that. So they believe this, so they'll attack any book that has anything to do with dissociative identity disorder, which this book is mainly about how Jenny Hill deals with her abuse after, and she has dissociative identity disorder. So 90% of the book is about that, but they're attacking it as if it's a political agenda. This often involves twisting various sources, which they do, such as religion, to look like they say that their views are right. Their motives could include, but are not limited to, money, power, fun, and I took this off of the net from about.com.
Trolls and the trolls that are involved with 22 Faces, just like Felicity said, they are hell-bent in trying to prove that dissociative identity disorder, which is in the DSM-5, has been in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for quite some time. Excuse me. So you have these people who are trying to prove that DID doesn't exist, that it is instrumented by therapists who inject memories into people's brains. They have done lots of tests in the last 30 years on mice, and they use laser beams on mice. And so there's a lot of controversy on whether or not they are actually a legitimate group or not, or if they're just a political rallying group to try and get rid of DID.
Well, that's the question here. I have a list. They frequent certain sites, and I actually have put together quite a few screenshots that show that these people have actually came together as a group when this book first came out and attacked it as a group. And the names that I have are Apology, also using the name Robert Steffen. Maybe I should talk a little bit about sock puppets. Sock puppet is where a person on the internet, often a troll, will use different profile names. So they have two profiles, and they'll use them both to argue, to make a point, like talking to themselves. So they have two profiles, and those are called sock puppets. So if I do two together, that's what it is. Or they're using separate names in different on different sites. So this one, Apology and Robert Steffen, are the same person. AC2012. Douglas, Doug Mesner are all one, and he also goes by Lucian Greaves. Kamikaze.
Lucian Greaves. Wait a minute. Lucian Greaves is a satanic chosen name, and it was chosen from a guy named Philip Greaves, who wrote the Pedophile Lover's Guide. Let's see. It's Philip R. Greaves II, and it's the Pedophile's Guide to Love and Pleasure, a child lover conductive code. So Lucian Greaves, which is Doug Mesner's chosen satanic name, is chosen from a pedophile who wrote a book on pedophilia. Sorry, I had to just jump in there and say that.
Also, I think he's using, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say, but Kamikaze, and then Keith, Keith, Orphea Nay, Dismember, Roma Hart, Altus also goes by Crit Sink, Argo also goes by Jeanette Bartha, Grandma Bethany or Grandma Dewey, which seems to be playing out that is also may also be Doug Mesner, Charles Gaston, Garrett, Strawberry, and there's others, but I didn't take a lot of time to find them all. But if you see these people together, they come as a group, and it's my belief that they did come onto this book as soon as the book came out and attack it and the author. So we can show how as we move on.
They have not only attacked the book and the author, but anybody who would come forward to actually say good things about this book.
Right, and the place that they mainly hang out, and they actually plan how to attack this author and this book and other authors and other books, is Mental Health Matters and Randy.org or JREF. Now, Randy James was the founder of Randy.org, and he is also a former member or a member of the False Memory Syndrome Foundation. They're connected. I'm not sure how. I didn't go into research to find that out.
Well, according to what I just read from CritThink and Kamikaze and AC 2012, Randy of Randy.org was accused of pedophilia himself. I don't know the whole, excuse me, I don't know the specifics about it, but they were talking about the fact that Randy had been accused, and it was his side that was talking about this on Randy.org because someone had accused Randy of being a pedophile or an accused pedophile. Now, the False Memory Foundation, just to give you a little bit, we do have a couple webinars that discuss the False Memory Foundation, but this is a group of people who were organized by a group of accused pedophiles to help other accused pedophiles get out of court and get out of legal implications of being pedophiles. And so this is what this group has done. So they have just basically trashed anyone who would come forward and speaking about abuse or abuse issues, such as Judy Byington. The author, we have excerpts taken from the discussion section of the book on Amazon.com. And the victims are anyone who has been supportive of this book, who have been attacked by these trolls. Felicity, why don't you talk a little bit about your experiences? Why don't you talk about yours, and then I'll talk a little bit about mine, and then we'll just together explain what others have gone through as well.
Well, what I'd like to do is start off with Judy, because I just think that what happened to her in this book is just horrible. I've been astonished for the whole time, and the reason I've stuck around, which most of the people haven't stuck around. I mean, people come and they write a review and they leave because these people are so atrocious in their attacks that people just don't stay. They're shocked and they leave. So they pretty much have the book. They have pretty much open availability to thrash this author. But what I've seen them do to her over the time that I've been there, I'm amazed. And I take screenshots of a lot of the stuff that I find. And so if I could, I'd just like to give the people an idea of what this author's been through. I mean, it's not funny, but it's amazing what this author's been through. And I don't believe when she wrote the book that she knew this was coming. I don't think that when she published this book, she knew that these people were out there waiting to attack her.
No, she didn't.
I mean, I don't know because I don't know the woman, but I have some screenshots, and I'd like to read some of the things that they've done. I don't know that I have it in order. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. One of the things that I remember really well because was she had some Costco readings. This was when she was first promoting her book, and she had some Costco readings that were canceled. And so I did call Costco because these people were bragging that that they had taken away her ability to do these readings. So I kind of went and looked to see what happened. So I called Costco, and the man there said that a gentleman called and said that she was a Satanist and they just couldn't have her at Costco for that reason. But I do have a screenshot, and let's see. I have to look and see.
While you're looking for that screenshot, just to let you guys know, just kind of a list of things. They've turned her in to every single organization. They've tried to get Jenny Hill's family riled up in order to take her to court. They have ruined her book signings. They have attacked her. They have stalked her, both on the internet and in real life. They have done everything they can to shut this woman down. Now, both Felicity and I have spoken to Judy Byington together and separately. We both find her to be a wonderful woman. She's very caring. She cares about survivors. There's no way that she's taking advantage of Jenny Hill. Judy Byington went on to Dr. Phil on television, and they totally, Doug Mesner wrote letters to Dr. Phil trashing Judy Byington before she even got there. And so that became a huge fiasco. And so if you're ready, Felicity, just jump in any old time.
This is another one. She had some library signings that were also canceled that they bragged about. So I called the libraries to find out what happened. And the library, they told me that somebody called and said that she was a Satanist and they couldn't have that in their town and badmouthed her. So they did, I am assuming that they called the libraries also. So here I have an Orpheanae. Now I mentioned her, and she is one of the trolls that frequents these places. Now she's writing this on randy.org. So this is one of their places where they're planning, and they don't just plan to attack the book on Amazon, they plan to attack the book everywhere. So she writes, called Costco headquarters in Washington and Sandy and Marie, Utah, where Judy is scheduled to do book signings, and spoke to people who can take action. They seem to be startled. Conveyed the contents of the book, communicated that the Utah AG had flat out denied any connection, which I couldn't find any evidence that the AG office ever, it's just not true. Alerted them that their good corporation name was connected with her via her Amazon page scheduled signings. So that was canceled. Then it comes along, good work, Altus. Oh, that was Altus writing that. I'm sorry, Altus or Critzink. This is Orpheanae writing. Good work, Altus. You inspired me to do something. Judy's webpage lists a book promotion at the West Jordan Public Library on the 29th of November, 2012. The West Jordan Library events page does not list this event. Still, I contacted them by email and warned them about Ms. Byington. I'll let you know what they reply. And then Orpheanae, of course, says, yes, good job. Okay. So that's there's more. They attack her business license. This is another one from randy.org this just shows that they are on another site as a group planning to take on how to take this book and this author down. Let's see. See, all of these, I don't have them in order. Let me look. This is where, I'm sorry. This is where they tried to take my license down.
They have tried to do everything.
I'm very sorry. That's where they try to take hers. They take hers down too. Here I actually have over at randy.org where they are. They're going after Judy's license, and Altus Rights or QuitThink, either of those same people. Actually, a case has been opened by the licensing office, RE, Judy practicing without a license. Doug, which is Doug Mesner they're talking about, also guided them to the AG's office, and the fact the office issued a statement denying any connection to Byington. The more people who file a complaint, the better chance there is getting something done about this. You don't have to live in Utah, and the form is a real simple form to fill out online. They just today put another form online, how to report my license. And then they have actually case number 62402. Now this was written October 2012, in 2012, November 2012. Would be such a win to get this woman and her harmful ways off the streets. She uses her URL in any news story. She has not had a license in 10 years, and you see a statement like this on her site. Scroll down a bit. How many more Jenny's is in the harming? She's also holding a seminar for which is charging $50. And she admitted to doing a therapy session with Hill. When enough people complain, a life coach in Utah got slapped with a felony charge. What Judy is doing is so much more harmful and life coaching, but nothing will be done unless people go and complain. And then Roma Hart. Okay, you have a good, let's see. Okay, we'll present. And then it says, as for the idiots, just let them talk and they'll dig themselves right into their own graves. So it's a threat to anybody else also. So, yes, that was interesting.
They have tried to go after everybody's license. They've tried to go after, they've tried to do everything they possibly can to cause problems, cause dissension. One of the things that Grandma Doobie, which I think is a reference to marijuana, but Grandma Doobie was talking and telling, was going on and on and on just the other day about how Felicity and I belong to a secret cult in California and how we're trying to bring Judy Byington's book down. And so they'll just pull anything out of the hat that they possibly can pull to cause any problems. And
here's a really good example of what they did in November of 2012. They went and looked on the internet for the group that I run. One of my administrators, I won't say her name because this was so embarrassing for her. They say, this is over on Randy.org again. Sorry for my train. They write, she spent a lot of time, they're talking about me, she spent a lot of time on Amazon advocating for her own DID site. Amazon took down a review of 22 Faced after she features a book for sale on her site, which isn't true. They do a lot of spinning and lying. Okay, then they put, and I'm not going to say the name, Vice President and Treasurer of Ivory Garden DID site, and now the evidence would suggest BDSM author. The reason I was probably getting her porn suggested to me was because she was hoping from her book site to 22, and the Amazon algorithms were associating the books. Just to be sure there was corrections between this person, the author and DID, I found a Gravatar profile in common with a DID site and porn BDSM blog. And then they put the site of this horrible BDSM blog that has just porno pictures and stuff. Notice the same guy liking this entry on the administrator's porn BDSM site. The two only have a handful of followers. That they would randomly have this guy in common is pretty improbable. Team that with Amazon suggesting these books to me, and you got some pretty nice evidence. Let's look at some of the entries of someone who advocates to protect those who have been sexually abused. Then she put some sites. Doug classified, this Doug Mesner, 22 Faces as pulp porn. I see the book as mind rape committed by Byington over a period of years against Jenny Hill. The fantasies of these women, that's meaning me, Jenny Hill, Byington, and the administrator of our group, who profess to help victims of sexual abuse are very curious. Again, the question needs to be asked, what is being advocated versus what is being projected, and who is doing the abusing? Felicity, badgering Doug the other night, looking for the details. It really is quite sick, and she ended up pulling a lot of her comments. Luckily, someone got screenshots. Then she puts in some more porn sites. So then they went over, and I have it, but I won't bring it up. Then they go over to Amazon and write that my administrator and myself run a porn site and put in several links to some really, really rough porn that people brought up. And of course, people believe, people don't know what trolls are. So, they believe what these people say. And, yeah. So
Well, and
anyhow,
that's just it. If people do believe what they say, and they're very good, they're sociopathic in their lies. They can twist anything to make it sound great. And you really have to really focus on what they're saying and how they're saying it and what they're saying in order to discern the truth, because it's not coming from them. And as Felicity is pointing out, they are just trashing anybody. And poor Felicity and Judy Byington have been number one on being attacked on this book. And so...
Now we have another one on, again, Doug Mesner, and Doug Mesner mostly talking now. He's stating that he's contacted the state troopers. I'd be very interested to know if he's ever heard of Hill or Byington. And then he writes in here, Doug Mesner writes, my complaint has been filed against them. So again, on Randy.org, these are just, I'm just showing that this is not people coming on to Amazon.com and writing a review or writing a simple comment. These people are going back to other places and planning an attack on this author and on this book. And this is illegal, by the way. I was putting the screenshots together and I realized that I just built a case. But I mean, it goes on for so long that you don't realize. Now, there's another thing that these people did, which is strange. The character, or not the character, but the girl in the book, Jenny Hill. She has a family. She has, I believe, 2 sons and a sister. If you follow through over at Randy.org, they actually plan on accessing the sister and the family and influencing them to turn against the author of this book, especially, and also their mom, who's Jenny Hill. So I have several screenshots of that also. But it's just, I mean, here Doug Mesner writes, I'm disappointed that Jenny Hill's sister has been mostly silent. She made a few attempts but stated something about trying to preserve her privacy or some such thing that simply isn't going to be possible. I always hope that these people will realize that there is more at stake than her own personal comfort. On that note, I hope like hell that the Castlewood, now they're talking about another case where they attacked, which was the Castlewood case, litigants don't settle their cases. This needs to go to court. It needs to go through a trial, and Castlewood needs to be shut down. So this is Doug Mesner stating, a lot of times what he'll do is direct these people, Roma Hart, Orpheanae, Critzink. He'll direct them over on Randy.org or JREF, whatever you want to call it, on what they should be doing next. So if you went over to the Castlewood case and you looked at the articles on Castlewood, you'll see these same people there, stating their case. So, so what they did was, it took them a while, if you read through this, to get a hold of this family, but now you'll see that this family stands behind this group of people and has turned on Jenny, their own mother, and Judy Byington. Now, I also have some over here where, like Roma Hart writes, I've been in contact with the FMSF for about 15 years now, so I have been pretty interested in every story I have come across where an MPD DID patient then becomes a therapist who does MPD ID therapy. Sorry, I can't give you names off the top of my head, but there are plenty of former DID cases giving DID therapy. Okay, one of the top off my head, and then he goes on talking. But these type of posts show that these people are not only meeting and have affiliations with JREF. It shows that they are also affiliated with the False Memory Syndrome Foundation. So these people have come in as a group backed by JREF or Randy.org and the False Memory Syndrome Foundation. So, I mean, I go on there as just a little girl trying to make a review, and I get attacked by people, and I just happen to hang out and start questioning, why are these people beating up this author so badly, only to find out that it really is a group of people a political group of people who have come in to take down this book and silence the commenters. So, I mean, I have much more. I could go I could go into everything they've done to me, and I mean, they've copied pictures of my granddaughter's video. Then they turned around and said that I exploited her by putting her video on my Facebook. They called CPS this weekend on me for that, which they put it on. I didn't. They've called my business license. They've called my the board that I run and tried to have it shut down. It just goes on and on and on. So they don't just, I mean, they've beat me up there. Anybody can go and read. They've beat me up there, had me in tears. I call Amazon and they just say, well, as far as what they do on the board, they could say all kinds of things about me, but Amazon has no way of telling if they're telling the truth or not. So they leave them up. I mean, they could say whatever they want. Well,
let's take a minute for a moment, Felicity, because I think it's important for people to know who we're talking about.
Well, okay.
So I wanted to share my screen, and I wanted to bring up, this is who I believe to be Kamikaze and Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, Crit Think. These are two of them that are going on, the two of them. Now, this is Doug Mesner, Westboro. This is where he performed a satanic site. What he's doing is he's showing his genitalia to the national media over the Westboro minister's. It was either his dead mother or his dead wife, her grave. This is another picture of Kamikaze and Doug. You can check the hat. These are the two people who are attacking the most on the hardest. Here's another one of them. As you can tell, they're just young kids. They're just punk kids. And then this is an example of Doug Mesner. And see his little hat. And this is the same Westboro minister's cemetery that was buried. And he made 2 men and 2 women kiss. And so that's what we're dealing with as far as, and then here is another picture. I personally would love to have his hat for Halloween, but that's just me. So, but I wanted to let you guys know who Mesner is, and here we are back. Okay, here we go. So let's go next and talk a little bit.
David, I want to read my favorite one.
Okay, sorry.
I have one that's my favorite. I mean, they have beat me up, but this one is by far my favorite post that Doug wrote to me. Doug Mesner, as you just saw him in all his glory, wrote to me, Felicity, as usual, you fail to answer a single question put to you in any coherent manner and instead pose me with an asinine array of questions. So now, let's see, most senselessly, these are really small, most senselessly you ask if I believe if all children were abused by Satanists actually saw them worshiping Satan. So now, if they don't engage in something they recognize as Satanism, why would we refer to it as Satanism? Is that what the word means in your twisted pedophilia-obsessed mind? And then you ask me what I believe regarding DID, apparently because you lack the will of decency to read any of my material or even Debbie Nathan's book before attempting. Oh, okay.
I read Debbie Nathan's book. It stunk. Sorry.
Okay, so let's see. Where did he do it? By the powers, this is the part that I want to read. That part was just garbage. By the powers that you have vested in me, I now declare you a Satanist. You are now a Satanist. That is this is my reality that you conferred upon me, and I believe that you are a Satanist. Further, I believe that you believe that you are a Satanist. Regardless of what you might say, I'm sure that you won't attempt to invalidate my sacred belief. Welcome to being a Satanist. That's one of my favorites that he wrote to me.
Well, and then Grandma Doobie, who I personally believe is Doug Mesner, also wrote down the same thing just a few days ago, how we're invested in a cult in California and causing all kinds of problems for Judy Byington. So but there is a saying that if you tell a lie long enough and hard enough and loud enough, people will start to believe it. And that's what we're seeing, is that a lot of people are starting to, Doug is out there everywhere. We have found all kinds of papers on Judy Byington written by Doug Mesner, who's just trying to trash the woman. Now, we have the outcome on the book. It has 136 reviews and 12,693 comments. Most of these, a lot of these, not a lot of them, because there's almost an equal amount of people who have liked the book at a 5-star than there are from the 1-star. The 1-star, a lot of the 1-star that you see, if you go to Amazon and you check out Judy Byington's 22 Faces, you'll see that there are a lot of 5-star or 1-star reviews that are one sentence long, which are nothing more than bashing the person, Judy Byington herself. And so Judy Byington has been so humiliated, and it is really, I think that Judy Byington would have given up if it wouldn't have been for people like Felicity and I who have fought for her. Now, just to let you guys know, they gang stalked me and gang reported me on Amazon. So one of my accounts is David Schurter got shut down, but I do have another account named David. And so I'm still in there trying to fight for Felicity, but they're doing anything they can to quiet us and keep us quiet, intimidating us. They just turned Felicity in to CPS because she complained that they exploited her 12-year-old granddaughter and put a video out that it was a private video. They put it on Amazon, and now they're saying that Felicity is in trouble for them exploiting her 12-year-old daughter. That's the kind of stuff they do. And now and they'll call anybody that they can to cause any kind of problems for us, so that we're too busy fighting for our own livelihoods and not fighting them on Amazon.
Yeah, and the thing is, I just came there to review a book, and I've been threatened to be sued. I've been physically threatened. I mean, people can go over there and read. I've been on the phone with Amazon for a year and a half, literally, complaining. They go to Amazon. They have their own little person they work with now to get, anything they want removed. The thing is that they're con artists. I mean, they're con artists. They're like, the person you could sell, ice to an Eskimo any day. That's the kind of people they are. I'm not that kind of person. I'm just a simple girl who read a book. I don't have those kind of skills. They get trained over at JREF on something called woo-woo tactics. They're skeptic tactics, and people can look it up, WOOWOO, or it's on Orphea Nay's website, and it teaches them to do such things like, if you need a degree, just lie. If somebody says something that makes sense, call them a liar. I mean, very simple steps like that, but they're very frustrating when you put up good evidence and they turn around and say, "You're nothing but a liar, Felicity." It's frustrating for the normal person who hasn't been around them for a while. You're going, "Whoa." So it's just, I think this is really good to bring the everyday person into this world to see. I mean, I don't know I hope it helps somebody to know that when you read stuff like this, there's a problem going on.
Well, I just want people to also realize, I'm just a guy who came forward and reported my father as a child abductor and trafficker. And I have gone through hell for the last 7 years trying to get this all out and exposed. Had to write a book, got a blog, set it up. There has been questions of whether or not the professionalism of Felicity and I want just to explain, we're just normal people. We're just normal people who did a review on a book, who are trying to do stuff. We're just average, normal people. We're not these great professionals. Felicity is much more professional than I am. She's gone through and she's much more professional. I am not professional. Never anticipated to be a professional. We're just people who are trying to make a difference, trying to show the child abuse. And for anyone who says that child abuse, today they were just talking about how the statistics for child abuse, that we're just too hysterical when it comes down to sexual abuse with children. And so it's been really a crazy time because they are on the opposite side, the opposite poles of what we believe. Felicity, now I'm going to speak for Felicity, but Felicity and myself, we do not like child abuse. We do not like child abusers, and we won't protect child abusers. And I at least have a really hard time defending those people who are child abusers or are defending child abusers. And that's what this group does, is that they're saying that they are protecting people against abuse by attacking the very people who are trying to help the survivors, like Judy Byington. And they have made Felicity's life a living hell. There was, I was giving her support, but Felicity has been fighting these people alone. There have been a few people who have come in and helped her, but for the most part, it's been Felicity's fight all alone for the last year. And so I think
they also have done everything they can in every way they can to attack our support group, which is quite active, and it's a safe place for survivors to go. They would do anything to have that group come down. And it's a good group. It's a good group. And the people there, they believe in me because because I've always been there for them. And really I just stay because I just can't sit and watch them tear this book apart and having open access to it with nobody there to even say anything. Otherwise the book would be one big attack. It's just not fair.
It is one big attack. And it's only been a one-sided attack, because we are doing this video about trolls and trying to expose who they are, which Felicity, before we end this webinar, I would like you to read that list of names again. And so we have that list so that people, if you recognize these people, and they're all over the web, you'll be able to recognize who they are. But I will say one thing. It took a while for Amazon to respond, but Amazon has responded. And they are, the other side has people working for them at Amazon, but we also have people helping us at Amazon. And so Amazon has been...
I don't want to say that there's another side, because I don't see this as a political, I don't see it as sides. There is no side. I mean, the book is the book. If you don't like it, state that you don't like it. State why. If you have, the book is a story about a woman. It's her story. There is no, you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. But to beat people up and to turn, to dig into their personal life, this is astounding. And I couldn't find any other resource where I could find where this happened to anybody else. But here are the names again. Apology also goes by Robert Stephan. AC2012 goes by the names, but I'm not sure. Douglas, Doug Mesner, also probably Grandma Bethany or Grandma Doobie. Karmakaze, you'll find that name usually under that. Keith, or Fianna will usually go under that name. Dismember, Roma Hart usually goes under that name. Altus or Crit Think, they're the same person, they usually go under one or the other. Argo or Jeanette Bartha, they usually go under either one. Charles Gaston, Garrett, Strawberry, and they could go by different names, but
they change their names constantly.
Yeah,
but these are some of the common names that they use.
Right.
Well, I have the last video up, or the last slide up, and we are actually looking for people who have written books, come forward as survivors, and been basically annihilated by this group. We are looking for people who have written books, about their own stuff, or other people's stuff that have been attacked by this political group. We hope that this has been helpful. Again, it is not a professional. We're not trying to be professionals. We're just trying to get the word out. We're trying to just be normal people who are actually trying to make a difference. If anyone has experienced problems with the same group of trolls, or if you are one of these trolls, we would love to interview you. Doug, this is a message for you. You want notoriety, so much so that you'll pull your junk out of your pants in front of national media. We are giving you a chance to be interviewed and let your side be heard with our people. So, we give everyone a chance to tell their experiences. And before we ever did this, we have gone on Amazon and we asked them all to come on tonight, and they all denied. They didn't want to come. Their anonymity is just too important to them. And so, but we tried to get them on here. You can reach me at www.davidshurter.com, or I also have a website address, which is David Shurter, which is SHUR, T as in Tom, ER, with the numeral 1 at gmail.com. And Felicity, you can reach her at igdid.com, or Felicity for us too. And that's Felicity, FELICITY, the numeral 4, US, and the numeral 2 at gmail.com. And so we were just looking for anybody. Oh, sorry.
igdid.com is actually our group. So if you go to that, you'll find our group board. I'm willing to interview anybody too. And so it's my invitation to Doug, if you'd like to be interviewed, if you don't agree with something I've said or something that's been said here, come on out. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, and we will talk with you soon. Thank you so much, and I hope this has been very helpful. Felicity, you're beautiful. Thank you.
So are you.
Thank you.